So greetings, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com. How you doing? It is Saturday, May 27th. And the reason that I state that date, because normally my videos are like out of certainly out of chronological order with which I record them. But what's interesting about today is that today is, I guess, officially the first day of Ramadan. And the reason that I say, I guess, officially, is because I believe that Ramadan started last night. Now, let me first say that I have literally Googled nothing about this. And I have a guy that I work with who I was talking with about Ramadan and the Muslim. Now, again, and I'm going to make a lot of statements here that I haven't verified. I actually purposely did not Google any of this because I wanted to be like, okay, so this is my level of knowledge right now. This is my baseline of ignorance, basically. And he was saying, oh yeah, so we were just at work, right? And so he just sort of off the cuff says, oh yeah, so it's Ramadan. Ramadan starts next week, or whatever, however the conversation started. So I said, oh, what is that? Explain it to me. And so the way that I heard it, and the way that I believe he described it, and certainly the small pieces that he described it, is that it is a way to sort of cleanse, it is a way to sort of reflect, it is a way to sort of be grateful via the process of fasting, aka starving yourself. Every day for, I think, 28 days. I believe you basically do it for about a month. In the morning, once the sun rises, if you will, you stop eating, and then once the sun goes down, you can eat. You fast all day. So anyway, so he was describing this to me, and I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty amazing, dude. I said, it's one thing for me to say, okay, I won't eat donuts during daylight hours. But I mean, to commit to the whole, oh yeah, and by the way, spoiler alert, it's everything, and now and again, I am not religious by any means. Like, there's no religion, like whether it's Islam or Islam or if you describe me as, being Buddhist or certainly Catholic or Protestant. I mean, I'm really none of those. With the exception of maybe Buddhist. I would submit that what I've learned about that religion, which, as I discovered, the little bit actually that I learned about Buddhism is, I think a more accurate description of Buddhism is that it's not a religion, but it's more a way of life. So, regardless of how you want to classify and label it, the behaviors of that religion, that way of life, seem to fit more into my life, and I'm imperfect at it, I mean, obviously I don't drink now, but I did a lot before, which interestingly enough, tomorrow will be 25 years sober, so I guess maybe I'm more Buddhist over the last 25 years than I was the previous 24, right? Anyway, that's an aside. Back to what are we talking about? Ramadan. So anyway, so I said, all right, well, I'll give this a try. So what's it all about? And he said, okay, so basically he sends me this to this website that describe, because I asked him, I said, okay, so is it like sunrise? Like, do I just like Google sunrise and sunset? He says, no, there's specific times. And so this morning, and for the next, 28 or however many mornings it is about 4:15 in the morning, here in San Diego, and then I can resume eating at about 7:50 or 7:50 tonight, and then I think it gets a little later because, of course, the amount of daylight per day is getting longer, right? Up until June 22nd, I think, June 21st. Anyway, so I'm trying it. So basically, as of 4:15 this morning, I haven't had any food. Now, I said to him, okay, so, and again, I know this is going to sound kind of juvenile, but literally this is what I said, because, and I prefaced it to him with, hey, so out of ignorance, like, and I'm not mocking you in any way, but like, if I drink water during this during this ceremony, during this process, I still get credit for the fasting? I mean, I'm like, I don't want to engage in any behavior and then sort of say, hey, I was fasting to practice Ramadan in front of someone who might be offended if I said, yeah, and all I did was drank water. And I said, look, am I going to get credit for that? I mean, and he says, no. He says, look, the fact that you're questioning this and you're not just like making statements that you think you know all about it because of what you read in I don't know, USA Today, which don't even get me started on the quality of the writing in there. But he says, no. And he just, he says, look, it's cool that you're giving this a shot. He's like, baby steps, right? And the awesome thing was, I woke up this morning, I checked my email, and he actually gave me a list of the stuff that he ate this morning. And I think he emailed me at like 4:10 this morning. It was a standard breakfast, right? I mean, it wasn't standard, but it was a healthy breakfast. And so it involved grains and eggs and cheese, I think. In any case, it wasn't Fruit Loops, but 4 bowls, so it'll tide me over for the whole day. It was like hard-boiled eggs and oatmeal and apples and that sort of thing. So it was kind of interesting. So I appreciated that. What I do, and so here's what I do know, right? Because again, I have not Googled anything about this. The next video you see, I will update you probably on day 2 of Ramadan on how I did during day 1, and whether not whether I'm going to continue with it or not. I'm going to do it a day at a time. Let's say that. But also what I've learned. And so far, all I know is that what you call the morning time, when you go from basically sunrise to no eating, is Sehr, S-E-H-R, I believe is how it's written and pronounced. And then at night, when you go from dusk until basically the evening time when you can start eating again, I believe it's called, or I know it's called Iftar, I-F-T-A-R. So, and again, I don't know what those mean. I know that they are words that describe those points in time when it's sort of acceptable to eat or not eat. I was also reading online this morning on that same website that tells you the times for when you can eat and not eat, when you can fast and not fast, about the times during the day when Muslims pray. And I didn't realize it was 6 times a day, at least on this website. And I'll put it below in case you care what I'm referring to. So I was like, wow. And there was even some statement, and it was relative to the page about the times in California. So the statements that people were making, the comments that people were making rather, were people that live here in San Diego. And so, one of the persons said something like, the prayer, I don't know if they described it this way, but the prayer is no good if you do it too early based on these times in the day that they recommend you pray. Unless you pray through the time with which it's described to pray. And I don't know if I'm willing to put that hat on for myself, because, again, this is just sort of a new thing to me, and I'm not sitting here pronouncing myself as all of a sudden, hey, I'm Muslim, or I'm no longer Buddhist, or my God, the Catholics are crazy, or no, I'm not stating any of that nonsense. What I'm saying is that this is new information I have. It is a very interesting commitment that I see people making based on their faith, and I am going to try it. Because if there's anything I hate more is, like, what do you call them? Armchair quarterbacks, basically, right? People who sit in their armchair and they yell at the quarterback on the screen who's, like, not performing up to their level of masculine competence, from their remote. And so, that transitions into my life, like people saying, oh, yeah, well, this is how it's going to be when you go to Thailand, or, well, it's a third world country, and, don't drink, this is the one I love, don't drink the water, which I get it. I mean, yes, there are absolutely countries where I agree with that statement, and I practice that not drinking the water. And sometimes I even do it by accident. If you go back and watch my videos when I was sick in the Philippines, don't drink the water. So anyway, so that's just all I wanted to say for now. I have this is day 1 of Ramadan for me, and I will see how it goes. I will continue to look for information. But I'm actually almost kind of excited to not look for information. I think I'm going to just sort of experience this as it goes along and let you know what my experience of it is. And I hope this doesn't offend anybody. That was not my intent. My intent is to simply describe my experience, strength, and hope around this matter, basically, around this ceremony, around this religious belief. And the way that the hat that I'm wearing is basically... I liked it when my colleague described it as a time for cleansing, a time for gratitude, and a time to sort of sit and pause and mainly to be grateful for what I have by experiencing not having. And that is something that I really appreciate. So anyway, it's Mike's from livemyassoff.com saying I'm going to fastmyassoff.com today. And with that, I hope wherever you're watching this, you're safe and happy, and you have a little bit of gratitude for the things and people and emotions and blessings that you have in your life. And I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. Ciao.